Chapter 5: The Eternal Guardian. The path to the rift was treacherous and surreal. As Jack and his companions approached, the landscape twisted into grotesque forms, a visual chaos wrought by the rift's corrupting influence. Trees contorted into tortured shapes, and the sky above flickered with ominous, unnatural colors, like a storm of broken spectrums. When they finally reached the rift, it loomed before them as a massive tear in the very fabric of reality, pulsating with a dark, menacing energy. The air around it vibrated with a palpable intensity, crackling with raw, uncontrolled magic that challenged the very essence of existence. Jack stood at the forefront, the amulets at his neck glowing with an incandescent fury. He began the incantations, his voice a resonant force amidst the cacophony of the rift's disturbances. His allies formed a protective circle around him, warding off the shadowy figures that emerged in droves from the rift, their forms as dark as the void from which they spawned. As Jack's chanting reached its crescendo, the amulet's light intensified, converging into a brilliant beam that pierced the heart of the rift. In that critical moment, the amulets unleashed a staggering torrent of energy. The force was immense, and the air shimmered as if reality itself was bending. Suddenly, the amulets exploded in a supernova of radiant light, sending a shockwave of power coursing through Jack's body. The energy was incendiary, searing through him with an intensity that transcended pain, forging something immortal in the crucible of its power. Miraculously, as the light receded, Jack remained standing, transformed. His body had absorbed the essence of the amulets, intertwining his life force with their ancient energies. He felt an invincible strength coursing through him and a serene calm that whispered of eternity. He had become an eternal guardian, immune to the ravages of time and death. The rift sealed with a sound like the heavens tearing, a final deafening collapse that echoed across the realms. As tranquility returned, the landscape began to heal, slowly resuming its natural order. Their return to the temple was marked by a profound reverence for what Jack had become. The guardians and Arya approached him with awe, recognizing that he had transcended his mortal beginnings to become a linchpin in the cosmic balance. Later, as Jack stood alone by the tranquil lake, the water mirrored not just his unchanged appearance but also the infinite depth of his new existence. He was now bound to the eternal duty of safeguarding the harmony of all realms, a sentinel for all ages. In the quiet solitude of his reflection, Jack understood that his journey had concluded, but his vigil, his eternal watch over the delicate tapestry of the universe, had just begun. His adventure had ended, but his guardianship would span the ages, a timeless commitment to protect and preserve. As the world settled back into its rhythm, and the cosmic scales were once again balanced, Jack stood at the edge of the tranquil lake, reflecting on the eternity that lay ahead of him. He was no longer bound by the fleeting nature of human life. Time had taken on a new dimension. What will the next 100 years bring? Or the next 1,000, for that matter? Jack pondered quietly, staring into the horizon where the sky met the water. His voice, barely a whisper, carried a weight of wonder and curiosity. What is time when you have eternity? As the sun dipped below the trees, casting long shadows over the water, Jack felt a deep, resonant peace. He realized that his journey through life as he once knew it might have ended, but his existence as a guardian was just beginning. There was no rush, no urgency that the tick of a clock could impose on him anymore. He thought about the countless adventures and challenges that awaited him, the realms he would safeguard, and the lives he would touch. With the powers of the amulet now coursing through him eternally, Jack was ready to embrace his role as the protector across the ages, a sentinel for all times. As the stars began to sprinkle the night sky, Jack's thoughts turned to the vast stretches of time that awaited him. His legacy would be written not in the sands of time, but in the stars of eternity.